Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing a modern classic that was made from 1985 to 2007, and the one you see here sold in 2005 represents the tail end of the production and the last of the line. This is the Patek Philippe 3940G-013 in white gold, 36 millimeters in diameter, 9.2 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 43.4 millimeters with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Across the entirety of the 3940 line, there were at least 5 distinct dials, not including retailer specials, and about 7,000 watches produced all told. An important timepiece that helped to usher in the modern era for Patek Philippe, embodying one of the company's signature complications, the Perpetual calendar. And on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see it fits beautifully. 36 millimeters and under 44 millimeters lug to lug makes this new for 1985 case shape absolutely suitable as a unisex option in the year 2023. It's flat enough to fit underneath the cuff. It's short enough across the wrist that you could easily wear it on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. No issues whatsoever. It's for him, it's for her, anyone who likes traditional sizing and proportions. The strap is high grade, as you can see, large rectangular scale alligator leather, high gloss. There's a sheer cut side, a monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom. Note a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap, and it uses the current day pull tab spring bars to remove the strap from the case without tools. We also have a matching white gold, really gray gold, folding clasp here. Snap shut and friction fit with the calatrava across, the symbol of the manufacturer on the buckle. You can see it again on the crown. Note one of the distinctive features of the 3940, that there's a little bit of a countersink to the crown. You can see it more easily from underneath. The crown's actually sunken into the case band, so it doesn't protrude and become a, shall we say, dominant feature of the case band profile. It leaves the case band smoothly intact. We also have a slight inset of the bezel, which is concave from the case band itself, and this helps to visually thin out the watch. Now, I mentioned this was gray gold. What I mean is it's white gold that never needs to be rhodium plated. So this is a higher grade of white gold that Patek started using in the 2000s, and it's one of the ways the 3940 was part of the changes at Patek through the period. Gray gold is the same color all the way through, so if you scratch it, it's the same color underneath. We have a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire over a silver dial. And you can see here that it's a silver satination that runs from top to bottom. We have dished sub-registers with coaxial indications. So we have your 24-hour indicator and the day of the week here. The 24-hour indicator lets you know when you're between the hours of, well, basically any nighttime hour. Truth be told, you shouldn't attempt to use the calendar between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., though in general, the shading here is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You still want to basically set the watch through midnight and advance it until 6:30 in the morning, then set the time and set the calendar system. The watch also includes coaxial crosshair, leap year phases, the 4s, the quarters, the 1, 2, 3, 4, with the 4th being the Quantième Bissextile, and then you have the month, and then you have coaxial pointer style date with a moon phase. So this being a perpetual calendar, you don't have to reset the calendar until the year 2100. The moon phase is of a type that only needs to be reset once every 122 years. Now we have a set of white gold polished Dauphine hands at center, white gold applique indices, and then we have metallic dimple style minutes outboard. And you can see this was one of the last watches to use the sigma symbols on its dial. This is something often described as the sigma symbols, better described as the a priori marks after the abbreviation for the Swiss Precious Metals Trade Association that started in the 1960s, encouraging watchmakers to put this symbol on dials that include either gold components like indices or hands or solid gold. And so this was one of the last applications of that symbol that originated in the early 70s. By the 2000s, this was almost extinct in the Swiss industry. Patek was one of the last to continue to use the signature. Flipping it all over, we have caliber 240. It was born in the late late 70s as a more upscale automatic for Patek Philippe, giving you the thin profile of a manual wind, and in the display caseback era, the open display caseback of a manual wind as well, but without the inconvenience of manual wind. It gives you the convenience of self-winding. The rotor is 22 karat gold to maximize the amount of inertia and winding vigor that it has. 48-hour power reserve, 6 beats per second, free sprung, adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. Pivoting on 27 jewels, you can see it uses the free-sprung Gyromax style balance, first originated by Patek on its watches in the early 1950s, an early form of free-sprung balance. It makes for better shock resistance as well as more precise adjustment. The finishing is handsome, and you can see the traditional Poisson de Genève. By the time production of the 3940 wrapped up in 2007, the Geneva seal was still being used. Patek didn't transfer out of it until mid-2009. You can see locating pegs used to help locate the balance cock on the base plate. Those have been polished on their top. There's 1, 2, 3 of them there. You can also see that we have the wheels all satinated. We have engine turning or perlage on the base plate in 2 different sizes at least. We have mirrored anglage on the edges, the beveled edges of the bridges, stripes or Côte de Genève laid down by abrasive wheel across the tops of the bridges. We also have a sort of partridge eye beveling inside the jewel sinks, and you can see that well. And all of this 30 meters water resistant. You can see Patek making its own cases with the Patek Philippe maker's mark on this one. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this long-running classic, a beautiful and versatile size. Every version of the 3940 is collectible. Make this one yours, Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com.